facts, the bald facts. A hosepipe ban is coming in from the end of the week. With me is the chairman of the MUA, joining me in the studio, Dr Alex Allinson. Good morning.
Good morning.
Dr Allinson, thanks for joining us. You must have seen this coming with this weather.
Unfortunately, I suppose, yes, we were worried that we might have to bring a hosepipe ban. I was on your radio show a month ago saying everything was fine. In May, we had 100% reservoirs. What we've got now, Solby's 60% full, West Baldwin's 58% full. So no major crisis, but the big thing that's changed is the weather forecast, particularly the long-range weather forecast. We started off thinking, it's a nice TT, we're having loads of sunshine. What we haven't had is any consistent rain. And the thing that has changed over the last week is the fact that the Met Office are now looking forward, saying for the next 3 months, we may not have any significant rain. That's why we need to bring these measures in now to conserve the stocks that we've got, because they're not getting topped up.
Well, let's just see what it means. Hosepipe ban at the end of the week. Who can't use a hosepipe? Now, what about farmers? What about people like that?
The 1991 Water Act is mainly aimed at domestic customers. So what we're talking about is the people who are listening to your radio station, householders, not using hose pipes, not filling up paddling pools, not doing their gardens, not doing their cars from Friday.
But can you fill up a bucket and wash your car?
Of course you can. You can carry on watering your garden with a watering can. You can carry on washing your car with a bucket. We're asking people not to use hose pipes. Why? Because they use thousands of litres an hour, and we're trying to conserve stocks. We also genuinely want to reach out to customers, both domestic and commercial, to say, look, we want to conserve stocks. We want to make sure that even if we don't get any rain over the next month or two, our reservoirs are still sufficient. So please be careful how you use water.
Yeah, we're just looking at the amount of water that is used. You've got a couple of reservoirs that aren't actually used for drinking water, haven't you?
Absolutely. What we're doing now over the next couple of months is looking at any contingency plans we can. We're monitoring this on a weekly basis. So if the weather changes, people, we'll reverse this ban. But what we're looking at is tapping into some of the unused reservoirs, perhaps bringing over portable water treatment plants that can utilise those. I don't necessarily want to start talking about desalination plants and things like that, but we are taking this very seriously. On the Isle of Man, we are unique. We can't just import water from somewhere else. We've got to conserve our own stocks and be self-sufficient.
Obviously, one of the problems is that all the water we produce practically is potable, which means it's drinkable, but most of that water goes on gardens, on cars, and it doesn't need to be drinkable. Do we need to look at the whole thing and say, can we think of a way of collecting water that doesn't need to be drinkable and using that on gardens and things?
Absolutely. In the past, people have had butts where they've collected rainwater and used that to irrigate their gardens. Farmers have been using wells. They've been using springs to irrigate their land. I think what we're looking at now is quite a unique occurrence. The only comparable data we've got is back in 1976, the really hot summer there, where you did have really quite severe shortages of water on the Isle of Man, and that actually caused the government to look at the whole situation and build the Sulby Reservoir. We're currently pumping 19 million litres a day from Sulby onto West Baldwin to make sure that the south is provided for. So we've spent a lot of money on the infrastructure, but I think you're right that if things continue and if we get more and more of these dry summers, we're going to have to look at better ways of using non-drinkable water.
So the subject of whether we bring in meters, whether we have a bigger treatment works needs to be discussed. But can I just ask you, how do you police this ban? Do you have people peering over hedges and leaping on people?
That's a very good question. No, we don't have the hosepipe police, I'm afraid, on the Isle of Man. The £1,000 fine is down in law. Realistically, what we're doing by bringing the hosepipe ban is sending out a message to people on the island, all the people here, to conserve your water, to take this seriously, because we're taking it seriously now. We thought back in May that the summer was going to be absolutely fine, that we had enough water. As I said, Solby's still 60% full. But for the next couple of months, the forecasts say we may not get any rain. I mean, that's serious. We're in August on the Isle of Man, and there's no rain forecast. This is very, very strange summer. It's great for people who want to sunbathe, but even at the weekend when we had loads and loads of water, West Baldwin Dam only went up by 2%. we need consistent rain to top up the reservoirs, and until we get that rain, we have to be sensible about the water we use.
And basically, you're saying, you're asking people, please help us. Don't just try and get away with it. Don't
That's
try and cheat.
That's right. I mean, look after your neighbours, look after your local communities, and we're also reaching out to businesses who, use water as well. Think before you turn the tap on. Let's all act together to try to conserve stocks and have a consistent way of averting any future problems in the next couple of months.